Have you ever considered the unseen impacts of elephant poaching? In the vast expanses of Africa, across 30 nations, a recent study paints a harrowing picture of elephant poaching. It's a story not primarily of greed, but of need. Yes, you heard it right. It's not just about ivory-hungry poachers, but communities struggling to survive. The study, which analyzed data from over 10,000 elephant killings spanning almost 2 decades, found that poaching is more prevalent in areas where communities are less prosperous and less healthy. Central Africa and the region near the Mozambique-Tanzania border are hotspots, and the forest elephants there face a graver threat than their savanna counterparts. But why is this happening? Well, poverty and lack of education often force locals into the deadly business of poaching. It's a desperate attempt to make ends meet, but it comes at a devastating cost to our planet's biodiversity. So, what's the solution? The research suggests a multifaceted approach. Anti-corruption reforms, for a start, can help to dismantle the illegal ivory trade. Demand reduction in countries where ivory is in high demand is another critical step. But we also need to go beyond that. Improved education, health, and economic programs can give communities alternatives to poaching, empowering them to protect, not plunder, their local ecosystems. And let's not forget about our wildlife rangers, the unsung heroes on the front lines of conservation. They need our unwavering support to continue their vital work. We see poaching is not an isolated issue. It's a complex problem intertwined with the well-being of local communities. Nature, in its own way, is responding to the poaching crisis. In a surprising twist of evolution, we are seeing a rise in tuskless female elephants, particularly in Mozambique's Gorongosa National Park. This trend was observed by an evolutionary biologist from Princeton University, who noted an increase in tuskless females from 18.5% to 33% between 1977 and 2004. Drastic shift can be attributed to the Civil War in Mozambique, where elephants were heavily hunted for their tusks. The rarity of tuskless elephants made them less of a target for poachers, granting them a higher survival rate. Identified a dominant gene, called AMLX, which is responsible for tusklessness among female elephants. This evolutionary response comes with its own set of challenges. Play a significant role in the behavior of elephants, aiding in everything from foraging to social interactions. Without tusks, elephants may struggle to perform these tasks, leading to disruptions in the ecosystem. The increase in tuskless elephants raises questions about the sustainability of this evolutionary adaptation. As the proportion of tuskless females rises, the genetic diversity of the population decreases. Could make the population more susceptible to disease and other environmental changes. Can sometimes be a double-edged sword, providing a survival advantage at the cost of ecological balance. While poaching is a significant threat, it's not the only danger elephants face. In 2020, a mystery unfolded in Zimbabwe that left conservationists and scientists puzzled. 35 lifeless giants, their bodies strewn across the landscape, were discovered within a span of months, 11 of them succumbing within a mere 24 hours. This mass die-off was not the result of poaching, nor drought, nor intentional poisoning. The culprit was a microscopic organism, a bacteria named Bisgard, taxon 45. This bacteria, previously unknown to be lethal to African elephants, led to septicemia, or blood poisoning. The transmission route of this bacteria to the elephant populations remains a mystery, but its deadly impact is undeniable. Here's where it gets even more concerning. Climate change-induced factors may play a role in the spread of this bacteria. Heat, drought, and population density, all exacerbated by our warming planet, could create favorable conditions for this bacteria to thrive and spread. Zimbabwe incident is not an isolated case. Similar bacterial infections have been observed in elephant herds across Africa and Asia, adding another layer of complexity to the threats these majestic creatures face. As we grapple with poaching, we must also turn our attention to these unforeseen threats. It's not just about protecting elephants from human greed, but also safeguarding them from the ripple effects of our actions on the environment and the unseen dangers they bring. Fight to conserve and protect these magnificent creatures is far from over. It's a battle fought on multiple fronts, and it's one we can't afford to lose. As we step into the future, let's ensure it's one where elephants continue to roam free and thrive, unthreatened by the perils of poaching and disease. We grapple with poaching. We must also turn our attention to these unforeseen threats. So, what can we do to help these magnificent creatures? In the face of these challenges, we can lend our support to conservation efforts, contributing to organizations dedicated to safeguarding elephants. Foster education about the devastating impacts of poaching and advocate for policies that shield wildlife and their habitats. Involvement, no matter how small, can ignite change. Your support can make a difference. We can help ensure a future where elephants roam freely, unthreatened by the forces that currently endanger them.